Welcome everyone. I'm Sarah and this is yoga. So we're going to start in a comfortable seat today. So I'm going to make my way over to my mat and we'll come into any comfortable seat you choose. So you might want to sit cross-legged, you might want to sit with your legs out in front of you into staff pose. You can sit on a blanket if you happen to have one. We'll roll our shoulders up, back, and down. And spend a few moments here to start to connect with the breath. And it's a very, very windy day here in Albuquerque, and my windows and doors are kind of banging a little bit. So hopefully you guys can't hear that. But if you do, just ignore it. As we sit here, bringing our attention towards the breath, start to lengthen and deepen that breath, both on the inhale and the exhale. And then if you like, we can do a little bit of pranayama, using a little bit of breath retention. So we'll inhale nice and deep, and then hold the breath at the top of the inhale for a moment or two, emptying the lungs completely on the exhale. And then again, hold at the bottom of the exhale for a moment or two. And we'll just do a few cycles of that breath. Full inhale, pause at the top, holding. Full exhale, and again with that pause. Don't want to hold your breath today, then just do nice deep breaths. We'll do one more round. And when you're done, just resume a more natural breath. And on your next exhale, drop the chin down towards the chest. Stretching the back of the neck, letting the head hang heavy. We'll bring that head back up to neutral. Dropping the right ear over towards the right shoulder, keeping both shoulders down away from the ears. Maintaining that head tilt, let's just rotate, dropping the chin down towards that shoulder. Turning the head to look forward again. And we'll bring the head back up to center, dropping the left ear over towards the left shoulder. And turning the head, dropping the chin down towards that left shoulder. Turning the head to look forward again. And then bringing the head back up to center. Drawing the chin in slightly towards the throat, engaging Jalandhara Bandha. And then turning the head, keeping the chin level to the floor, looking over your right shoulder. Returning through center, looking over the left shoulder. Returning to center, bringing the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release, taking some shoulder circles first to the front. Nice big circles here. Take a couple more to the front. And then we'll circle to the back. And we'll take one more, leaving those shoulders back and down, placing hands on knees, circling the torso around in the hips. Inhaling as we bring the chest to the front, exhaling as we round the spine to the back. Moving with your breath, making these circles as large or as small as you'd like. Let's take a couple more in this direction. Pausing, and then we'll circle around in the opposite direction. Again, inhaling to the front, exhaling to the back. Moving with more breath. Take a couple more. And last one. Coming back to center, moving into a breathing twist, inhaling, reaching arms up overhead. Exhaling, gently twisting to one side, placing one hand in front and one behind, and inhale it back up. Exhaling as we twist to the other side, moving again with your breath at your pace. Inhaling, reaching. Exhaling, twisting. You can look over your back shoulder as you twist, or just look to the side, depending on how the neck feels today. Holding on one side for an extra breath or two. If you like, take your front hand to your opposite knee, pressing into the knee to go a little deeper into that twist. Releasing, inhaling both arms up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side. Again, front hand to opposite knee. Press into the knee, go a little deeper here. And release, inhaling arms up. Exhaling the hands into the heart. Taking a few deep breaths here. Maybe taking this moment to set an intention for your practice today. Dedicating the efforts of your practice to someone or something. Remembering as always that this is your practice, so please modify or skip any poses that don't work for your body today. Taking breaks when you need them. Listening to your body, staying with your breath, and staying in the present moment. Let's make our way into easy pose. So separating our legs a little bit so that we can see both of our feet and the ankles are lined up. And then we'll walk the hands out to the front. dropping the head between the arms. Lifting the head up and walking our hands away from our front leg. So if your right leg is in front of your left, walk your hands to your left or vice versa. And then drop the head back between the arms. Lifting the head again, walking the hands to center and bringing them in. Switching our legs. Take the other leg in front. Again, try to line up your ankles. And then we'll walk the hands out to the front again, dropping the head between the arms. And lifting the head, walking the hands away from that front leg over to the other side, dropping the head back between the arms. Lifting the head back up, walking the hands to center, bringing them in. Let's bring the soles of our feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Holding onto the ankles, sitting up nice and tall, hinging it forward at the hips. Maybe taking elbows and lightly pressing on the knees, keeping the spine nice and neutral here, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Releasing our fold, placing the right hand on top of the right knee, the left hand comes behind our left hip for stability, and then we'll use that right hand to gently press the knee all the way down. The left hip can lift off of the mat if it needs to. Some of us will be able to keep both of the hips down. I'm not one of those people, so mine is going to lift up quite a bit. And then we'll release and switch, pressing that left knee all the way down. Let your right hip lift if it needs to. And release, making our way to all fours for some cat and cows. Bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Fingers spread wide. You can pad your knees with a blanket or maybe making a fold in your mat. On your next inhale, dipping the belly down, looking up at the cow. Exhaling, arching the spine, tucking the chin and the pelvis under into cat, moving with your breath at your pace. Warming up the spine. Elbows are soft, core is engaged, pelvic floor lifted. Taking a few more in each direction. And let's take one more of each. Returning to a neutral spine. Inhaling, reaching the right arm out to the side, bring it up, twist. Exhale, thread the needle, reach that right arm between the left hand and knee. Take the right side of the head down to the mat. Left hand stays by the face, or you can extend that arm, either reaching towards the front of the mat, reaching it up toward the ceiling, or bring it behind the back, reaching for your right hip. Let's release that left hand, bring it back by the face. Keeping the right arm where it is, pick the head up, take the left arm across for modified knot, releasing the forehead down, and then pressing the backs of the hands into the floor, opening up the shoulder blades. And we'll release, coming back to all fours. Let's do the other side. Left arm reaches out and up, twist. Exhale, thread the needle, reach it through. Taking the left side of the head down to the mat or a block. Right hand can stay by the face, or you can extend that arm to the front. Reach it up toward the ceiling or take it behind the back, reaching for your left hip. You don't have to do the same thing on this side that you did on the first side. You can if you want. We'll release the right hand back by the face, leaving the left arm where it is. Pick the head up. Take the right arm across for modified knot. Release the forehead. And then press the backs of the hands into the floor, opening up the shoulder blades. And we'll release, coming back to all fours. And then we'll sink the hips back to the heels to come into a child's pose. So any version of child's pose that you like, you can extend arms out to the front of the mat. You could stack the hands or fists and rest the forehead on them, or bring your hands back by your feet with your palms facing up. Knees can stay together. You can separate them out if you like. Remember, you can rest in child's pose anytime you need to take a break during the practice today. Resting in child's pose or any other seated or lying down pose if this is not the comfortable pose for you. Let's extend the arms out to the front of the mat into an active extended child's pose. So elbows and forehead are lifted off the mat. We'll bring the ears right in between the arms. On your next inhale, coming forward, kneeling plank, shoulders over the wrists, dropping the hips down so they're right in line with the rest of the body. Exhaling, pressing back into your child's pose. So let's do that a few times. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Couple more here. Inhale. And exhale. One more like that, and then we'll add. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Adding on to our flow. Inhale forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower partway, modified crocodile. Elbows point to the back. Inhale, press back up, kneeling plank. Exhale, take it back, child's pose. We'll do that a few times. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Keep those elbows in close to the body. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, take it back. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, take it back. One more like that, and then we'll add again. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Exhale, take it back. Adding on again. Inhale forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, this time lower all the way to the mat, moving with control. Inhale, lift the heart, baby cobra. Exhale, press it back, child's pose. Do that a few times with the breath. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, press back. Two more. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, press it back. Once more. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, press it back. And we'll come back to our comfortable child's pose of choice. Resting here for a few more moments. And you can stay here, or if you're ready, make your way into downward facing dog. So come back to that active extended child's pose. Come forward through your kneeling plank, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. And we're in Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. So if you like, you can make some movements here, pedaling out your feet, shaking your head out, taking one leg up in a three-legged dog at a time. Whatever feels right to you today. Remembering you do not have to move this pose if you don't want to. You can be still. And we'll settle into our pose once we're done with our movements, tucking the chin, looking back between the legs. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And we'll look up to the hands and just walk the feet up to the hands. Coming into forward fold. Feet are hip width apart, and we'll soften our knees, grabbing opposite elbows, letting that upper body hang, shaking the head out from side to side. Take it front to back. Swaying the whole torso from side to side. Returning to center, releasing elbows, placing hands on shins or thighs, extending the spine, looking forward, taking a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold, softening the knees, inhale, reverse, swan back, come all the way up. Scaling the hands into the heart. And releasing the arms down into Tadasana Mountain Pose. Taking a few deep breaths here. Take a nice big step out to the side. Moving through some moonflowers and sunflowers, so toes turn out about 45 degrees. Inhaling as we reach the corners of the room. Exhaling as we bend the knees, bring the elbows into our sides, and inhale, reach it up and up. Exhaling as we bend. Couple more here, inhale. And exhale. Last one. And exhale, transition into sunflowers. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms down and around as we fold, and inhale brings us back up. Exhaling as we fold. Couple more here, inhale. And exhale. Last one. Exhale down, leaving our hands down. Bend your knees as much as you need to get them there, or you can bring in a block. You might want to widen your stance a little bit, but keep your toes turned out. And we're going to bend one knee at a time, going back and forth. You can leave your hands in the center or walk them from side to side. Kind of warming up our hips a little bit more. You might hear some little noises happening in your ankles, your knees, your hips. As long as there's no pain associated with those noises, then don't worry too much. Oh, there goes my right ankle clicking. My left knee is kind of crackling. It's all good. And then when we're done, we'll come back to center, bending both knees, walking the hands up onto the thighs, and then bringing them into the heart, stacking the shoulders back over the hips, coming into a prayer squat, sinking the hips down. Let's lift our right heel up and release it. Lift the left heel up and release it. If you can, lift both heels up and balance here. And release, inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Turning towards the front of the mat, step the back foot to the front. Releasing the hands to the heart. And then releasing the arms down into Tadasana Mountain Pose. So we're going to do some sun salutations. My focus for our practice today is shoulders and hips. So we're going to do one sun salutation on each side that focuses on the shoulders. So we're going to do like a chest expansion. We'll do a little standing back bend. And then the next one will be focusing on the hips. So we'll drop into lizard and kind of hang out in lizard. So just something a little bit different today. Keep you guys on your toes. As always, please modify the sun salutation in any way that you like. Do your own favorite version. It's your practice. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees, hands to the mat, right foot steps back. You can stay on toes or lower the knee, bringing the hands behind the back, clasping them together, opening the heart. And then releasing, stepping the left foot back for downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling the plank. You can stay on your toes or drop the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping the right foot up by the hands. If you get stuck, just help get there with your hand. Stay on toes or drop the left knee. Bring the hands behind the back, clasping them together, opening the heart on the inhale. And then releasing, stepping the left foot up to the front on the exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up. Exhale, standing back, bend, open the arms. Inhale it up. Exhale, the hands to the heart. So repeat that on the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Left foot to the back. Stay up on toes or drop the knee. Bring the hands behind the back, clasping them together, opening the heart. And releasing, taking the right foot back. Downward dog or child's pose. Inhale, plank. Stay on toes or drop the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Left foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop the right knee. Bring the hands behind you, clasping them together, opening the heart. And releasing, right foot steps to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale, standing back, bend, open the arms. Exhale, the hands to the heart. So we'll change it up. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot to the back. We'll all drop that knee down, taking the left hand to the right of the foot, to the instep side of the foot. Keeping your arms extended, or maybe bending the elbows and lowering the chest down a little bit. Sinking into lizard. We'll hold here for a few breaths. You can use that sinking breath here. So on the inhales, the spine lengthens a little bit. And then on the exhales, maybe we go a little deeper into our pose. And then let's inhale. Straighten the arms if they're bent. Exhale, step that left foot back, downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling the plank. Stay on the toes or lower the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping the right foot up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your left knee. Inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhaling them down and stepping the left foot up to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale, the hands into the heart. Let's do the same on the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Left foot to the back. Lowering that left knee down. Bringing the right hand to the instep side of the foot, to the left of the foot. Keep your arms straight, or maybe bend the elbows and start to lower the chest down. Staying here for a few breaths. Breathe into that right hip. Inhale, come back up, straighten the arms. Exhale, step the right foot back, downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Left foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your right knee, inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhaling them down, taking the right foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhaling the hands into the heart.
And releasing the arms down into Tadasana Mountain Pose. Taking a few deep breaths here, open mouth exhales if you like. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot to the back. We'll turn that foot out up to 90 degrees, coming up for Virabhadrasana B, Warrior Two. Bringing those arms out, reaching parallel to the floor, making sure your left knee is pointed straight over your left toes, and our shoulders are stacked over the hips. And we'll relax those shoulders down away from the ears. Breathing here. Reaching forward with the left fingertips and then releasing that left forearm down to the thigh. Right arm reaches up and over for side angle. Sinking hips down a little bit more. You can stay here with your elbow on your thigh, or if you want, you can release your left hand to a block or to the mat, or if you'd like to bind the pose, we'll bring that right arm up. Internally rotate so the thumb points to the back. And then drop that arm behind your back. Then we'll come to the inside of that left thigh with the left arm and then reach under the thigh, reaching up for the right hand. If you kind of lean forward to grab the hand, once you have it, see if you can open the chest back out to the side. Maybe turning your gaze up toward the ceiling. Breathing here. If you have the bind, go ahead and release. And then we're going to come back up into Warrior Two, straightening out the left leg and releasing the hands to the hips, turning the left foot in so it is parallel with the right. You could also be slightly pigeon-toed if that feels better for your ankles. With hands on hips, we'll inhale and lengthen the spine, looking up. Exhaling as we fold, releasing the hands down to the mat. So once we're here, you can widen your stance or bend your knees. And we're going to walk the hands off the side of the mat, moving into a wide-legged downward dog. So make sure that your hands are really well seated into the floor, spreading the fingers wide, pressing through the entire surface of the hands out through each finger. And then once you feel secure there, dropping the head between the arms, looking back between the legs. And then we'll release, walking the hands back in. Maybe bringing the feet in a little closer. We'll lift the head, take a few deep breaths here. And then let's walk the hands around to the front of the mat, turning the feet. And then lowering that right knee, coming into a low lunge again. So you might want to pad your right knee. Make sure that your left knee is stacked over your left ankle in the front, and we'd like to see that right knee behind the right hip in the back. And then we'll walk our way up this left leg, clasping the hands together on top of the thigh, sinking the hips down, stretching the front of that right hip, getting into the hip flexor. So the thing about both the shoulder and the hip joints is they are ball and socket joints. So they move in many, many different directions. So because they move in so many different directions, we have a lot to choose from in terms of yoga poses to help stretch them out. They are also prone to injury and tightness. That's why we like to focus on hips and shoulders. Let's go ahead and release the hands back to the mat. And we're going to heel toe this left foot to the right side of the mat. Bring the left knee down on the left side of the mat. Coming into Kapotasana pigeon. So if this is a no-go for you today, for whatever reason, maybe your knee is bothering you, maybe it just doesn't feel right for your body, you can come onto your back and take a figure 4, crossing your left ankle over your right thigh. So if you're staying in pigeon, using our hands to stabilize us so that we're not rolling onto this left hip, you could also prop underneath the left hip. And then when you're ready, feel free to fold, resting the head on your hands, on a block, or on the mat. And we'll release, coming up. Planting the hands at the front of the mat, tucking the right toes under, lifting those hips up and back. Coming into downward dog. From here, we'll step that right foot up by the hands. Turning the left foot out up to 90 degrees, and we'll come up for warrior 2 on the other side. So just check your knee position, make sure it's pointing straight over your right toes. I also like to look back at my back arm. Sometimes it's down here and I don't realize it. So it's worth just checking quickly to make sure it's where it needs to be, and then returning your gaze over your front fingers. Reaching forward with the right fingertips, release the forearm to the thigh. Left arm reaches up and over for side angle. Staying here or releasing the right hand to a block or the mat. Or if you'd like to do the bind, bring that left arm up. Internally rotate the arm so the thumb points to the back. Dropping that arm behind you. And then coming in front of the right thigh with the right arm, reaching up for your left fingers. And again, if you kind of fold a little bit to get them, once you have them, try to open the chest back out to the side. Maybe you'll turn your gaze to look up at the ceiling. If you have the bind, go ahead and release. We'll come back up into warrior 2. Straightening out the right leg, releasing hands to hips, turning that right foot in so it is parallel, or again, you could be pigeon-toed if that feels better. So we're going to do something a little different on this side, clasping the hands together behind us. Inhaling, opening the heart, looking up. Exhaling as we fold. So coming into Prasarita with a chest expansion. So we'll start to let our hands move away from the back at the same time. Lift the shoulders up away from the ears. Create space for the neck. You can rest your head on a block or the mat if it's close. You don't have to. It's just an option for you. And then let's release the arms down, pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the head. Take a few deep breaths here. And then we'll walk the hands around to the front, turning the feet, dropping that left knee, patting that knee if you need to, making sure the right knee is stacked over the right ankle and the left knee is behind the left hip. And then we'll walk our way up this right leg, clasping the hands together on top of the thigh, sinking the hips down. So if when you kind of sink down, that knee starts to come a little bit forward of your ankle, just walk that foot out away from you a little bit more. And we like to have those nice, 90-degree angles at the joint, just to kind of protect that ankle joint. Releasing the hands to the mat. Let's heel toe this right foot across the mat over to the left side. And then we'll bring the knee down on the right side of the mat. Letting that lower leg kind of tuck underneath you if it needs to. If you can kind of keep it parallel to the front of your mat without, a lot of pain, if you're flexible enough there, then do so. Otherwise, let it kind of come underneath you. Maybe take that figure 4 on your back if this is really not working for you today. Maybe propping the right hip and then folding when you're ready. And we'll release, coming up. Planting the hands at the front of the mat, tucking the left toes under, lifting those hips up and back. Coming into downward dog. Let's step our feet wide, turning the toes out. Maybe your toes are off the side of the mat and your heels are still on it. And then we'll walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees so that we wind up at the back of the mat in garland pose, Malasana, pressing the elbows into the knees, extending the spine, sinking the hips down. Now, I know this is challenging for a lot of people trying to get your heels down. You can sit on a block if you need a little bit more height. If bending your knees as much is just not working for you. And then from here, we're going to just bring our hands behind us and have a seat. Extending the legs out long, coming into staff pose, Dandasana. So if you like, you can kind of move some of the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. You can elevate your hips on a blanket. You might want to have a strap nearby. Flexing the feet, inhaling as we reach the arms up. Exhaling as we fold, hinging from the hips. So you can reach for your feet, your ankles, your shins, or under your thighs, or using a strap if you have one, looping it around the bottoms of the feet and pulling on the ends, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Again, using that sinking breath, lengthening on the inhale, deepening on the exhale. And releasing. If you're using a strap, leaving it wrapped around the bottom of the left foot and just taking your right foot out. Bending the right knee and letting that knee open out to the right side for Janushirshasana, maybe propping the knee if you like. Placing one hand on either side of the left leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching for your foot, strap, or anywhere along the leg. Maybe taking a cross grip with your hands if you want. Reaching for opposite sides of the foot or leg with your hands, crossing them at the wrists, centering the chest over the left leg. And releasing, coming up, bringing the right knee up. We'll step that foot up and over to the outside of the left thigh. You can leave your left leg straight or bend underneath you. Hugging the knee with the left arm, the right arm comes behind us for a twist. So you can stay hugging your knee from the outside. You could bring your elbow past the knee, or if you want, you can find the pose. So starting by bringing the elbow past the knee, extending that arm out. Again, internally rotating. So now the thumb points down, feeding that arm between the legs, coming behind the back with the right arm and reaching for your fingers or your shirt or a strap. And then I actually will move my arm so it's more by my shin. My elbow is in front of my shin, just because that feels more comfortable for me. And then we'll release that. Extending the right leg out, bending the left knee, letting that knee open out to the left side. Again, maybe dropping the knee, maybe setting up your strap around the bottom of the right foot. Placing one hand on either side of the right leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching again for the foot strap or anywhere along the leg, maybe taking a cross grip with your hands, centering the chest over the right leg. And we'll release, coming up, bringing the left knee up, stepping that foot up and over, keeping your right leg straight or bending it underneath you, hugging the knee with the right arm, the left arm comes behind us and we twist. And again, you can stay hugging your knee, you can bring your elbow past your knee, or you can bind. And we'll release. So keeping your legs crossed like this, and if you don't already have that lower leg tucked underneath you, go ahead and lean over to your right and then bend that right leg underneath you and come back up. Moving into Gomukhasana, cow's face pose. So we're gonna try to stack our knees on top of each other. You might find this easier if you sit on a blanket or a block. And we like to try and get our sits bones level if at all possible. So either on your mat or on a block if you're elevated. Trying to stack those knees. And then we're going to do the full version of this pose today. So it's hips and also shoulders. This is one of those poses that gets both. So since we have the left leg on top, we can use a strap to help us. So I'll show you how to use a strap. If you don't have a strap, don't worry. But if you have a strap, you're going to hold the strap in your right hand. The right arm is going to come up and we're going to drop that strap behind the back, giving a nice press on our right elbow with the left hand. And then we'll take our left arm out. Again, internally rotate so the thumb points down, and then bring that arm behind the back, reaching for your strap. If you don't have a strap, grab your shirt, or if you can reach, grab your fingers. Now, if you tuck your chin into your chest to get the bind, once you have it, bring the head back up to neutral. And then if you like, you can fold. Releasing the fold, release the arms, and then you can just switch your legs, or if you want to do the fun little turnaround version, we're going to bring the hands to the right and a little bit behind us, coming up onto the balls of the feet, walking the hands around in a circle, rotating on the balls of the feet, and then sitting back down. So now your right knee is on top of the left. And then again, make any adjustments you need to. Try to level off your hips. This time, we'll take the strap if we're using it in our left hand and drop it behind the back, pressing on our left elbow with the right hand. Just kind of get that hand a little further down to the back. And then we'll extend the right arm out, internally rotate. Take that arm behind the back, reach up between the shoulder blades, grab a hold of your strap, your shirt, or your fingers. And then if you tuck your chin into your chest, once you have the bind, bring your head back up to neutral and then you may fold if you like. And we'll release. Go ahead and uncross your legs, release your arms, and we're going to roll down all the way onto the back. You can hold on behind your knees or challenge your core. Coming down nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Tucking the chin to the chest. And then hugging those knees in once we're down. Taking some rocks from side to side. Placing hands on kneecaps, circling them around first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Returning to center, hugging the right knee in, releasing the left leg, giving that right knee a squeeze. Standing the right leg up, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And circling it around first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling the right leg in for a hamstring stretch. Your left leg may be bent. You can straighten that leg out along the floor. Reaching that right leg out towards the right side, keeping your left side on the mat. So you can place your hand onto your hip, kind of hold it there. You can also activate the muscles in your left leg. Taking that right leg up and across the body over to the left. Reaching the right arm out into a T, keeping your right shoulder on the mat, maybe looking down your right arm. And releasing, bring the right leg back up, bending both knees, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh for a figure four stretch, reaching the right arm between the legs and pulling on the left leg. So you can grab onto the back of the thigh or the front of the shin, and we'll line that left knee up with our left shoulder. Releasing the right foot, hugging the left knee in. Reaching that left leg up, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And circling it first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling the left leg in, hamstring stretch. Your right leg may be bent or straight. Taking the left leg out towards the left side, keeping your right side on the mat. And then taking that left leg up and across the body over to the right. Extending the left arm out into a T, keeping your left shoulder on the mat. Maybe looking down your left arm. And releasing, bring that left leg back up, bending both knees, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh, reaching the left arm through and pulling on the right leg, lining that right knee up with your right shoulder. And releasing, hugging the knees into the chest, extending arms out into a T. Either dropping both knees to your right, or if you want, cross your left leg over your right thigh first, and then take the knees to the right. Keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe looking down your left arm. And we'll release and switch sides. If you cross the legs one way, cross them the other way, and we'll take those knees over to the left. And we'll release, uncrossing the legs if they're crossed, hugging the knees into the chest, giving them a nice squeeze. And then releasing it all down. So preparing for Shavasana, final relaxation. So if you want to put any layers on that you may have removed during the more active part of our practice, take a moment to put those back on. And then finding any comfortable position you choose for your meditation today. I'm going to read a guided visualization just to give your mind something to focus on as you are in your meditation space. I can find the one that I am looking for. Probably be the last one I look at. Yes, of course, near the bottom. Closing the eyes and slowing down the breath. Our world is composed of opposites, light and dark, positive and negative, as symbolized in the Chinese yin yang. The opposing forces are interdependent, each carrying within it the seed of the other. Thus, hidden in even the gloomiest outlook, there is always a tiny spark of hope. Imagine this hope as a beam of light, piercing the darkness and shining forth to reinforce your faith. And start to wiggle fingers and toes. Sniffling ankles and wrists. And reaching the arms up overhead to stretch. And release. And either rolling to one side or hugging the knees into the chest. Take a few deep breaths before you make your way up to seated. Coming into any comfortable seat you choose to finish your practice today. Sitting up nice and tall and dropping the chin towards the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder. Bringing the head back up, taking the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release, taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling arms up. And exhaling them down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Once more, inhaling it up. Bringing the hands together at heart center as we exhale. Delighted me honors, delighted me. Namaste.